Well, my name is Andrew Hillier. I'm the CTO and co-founder of CiRBA. We're a data center intelligence company that provides analytics software for both planning and managing virtual and cloud environments.
What are your main products and what do they do?
Well, there are two products. One's called DCI Transform, and it's really designed to help customers get from one state to another. So move from physical to virtual, move into the cloud, consolidate data centers, any kind of transformation that's more project-based, where you're trying to get to some new state. The other side of it is what we call DCI Control, and that's a control console and analytics that you point at a running virtual cloud environment, and it will look at all the moving parts, all the operational patterns, all the business constraints, and uses policies to say, where should I put things and how big should I make them? So it'll actually optimize the runtime of a virtual cloud environment, and really the key benefit is it drives up the efficiency and drives down the risk.
So cloud optimization is a big subject for a lot of people because when they go to scale, the money goes to scale. So how do you get to the heart of that with your products?
Well, the problem with a lot of clouds is that they're complex and there's a lot of constraints and a lot of policy elements that govern the operation of the cloud. Now, what we see a lot of times is that if you don't have a good handle on those policies and a good handle on the environment, you end up over-provisioning. So a lot of environments have way too much hardware for what they're doing, but it's really the only defense mechanism people have against risk. So what we do is we say, well, if you look at the risk, take the risk head on and say, we're going to make sure that all the guests, all the instances are sized properly and operating properly, and everything's balanced properly, then you can get a very high degree of efficiency in the environment, because then what you've done is you've freed up what we would call stranded capacity. And you say, now you can actually drive these to a higher level of density safely. So a lot of customers are actually in a state where they're low efficiency, high risk. And we want to turn that around and say, we're going to make you high efficiency, low risk. And it's actually fairly straightforward with the right analytics.
So that leads me to ask you about what are some of your typical customer pain points, maybe some of the typical customer solutions that you've come with.
So our customers, we typically see, again, these two problems. We see people that are setting up clouds or even still virtualizing, and they want to get everything into those environments as fast as possible. But it's not simple, because there's a lot of constraints and a lot of policies. So once you go beyond the dev test workloads and you look at production workloads, it becomes very, very difficult to figure out what to do with them, because they have certain operational patterns or I/O requirements or even business rules around compliance that make it very difficult to move in. So one big customer pain that we solve is the ability to set up what we call a factory to get you into those environments rapidly. And for some of our customers, they need to be moving very quickly, because if they don't go fast enough, they'll never catch up because they're growing so fast. Or they have certain time frames that they want to be able to write off, certain consolidation expenses. So the transformation side is a big customer pain. And again, the other side of it, directly in line with the way we structure our product, is when these customers have running environments, that steady state running environments, they're finding that they're not performing as well as they should be, and they're throwing more hardware at it than they need to be. So again, that's a very common customer pain, and we see that doing the right analytics can actually save millions of dollars on a cloud environment, a pod-based cloud environment, by just driving up the density by 20%. Saves a tremendous amount of money, because it allows you to avoid purchasing more hardware. You can purchase at a much slower rate.
So with a product line such as this and services that you offer, one has to think that you have a great support methodology. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, it's interesting. We are a product company, so we work very hard to enable our customers to be self-sufficient. Most of our customers, they want to do this themselves. So we will, of course, help where necessary, but we have extensive training programs. We have very extensive training programs for a company our size to say, we want to give you, there's online web-based training. We have teams that we fly out, because we want people to be able to do the analytics themselves. This is something that we want you to run, and we want you to actually be self-sufficient in this and control your destiny. We don't have any mandate to come in and do this other than to enable you. So that's the way we approach most of our customers. We do, of course, help, because we do get a large breadth of experience with our different customers. So we are able to help customers, by just observing what other people are doing, what the patterns are, and best practices. So we do a certain amount of that, but we also embed that into our product, into the rules in our product. So where possible, when you buy our product, we have already embedded in it all the best practices that you need to work with from our collective experience. So where we're going, there's a concept that we like to throw around called the cloud brain. We want to be the brain of the cloud, and it's a very good analogy, because what we find is that if you look at cloud stacks that people are setting up, people are integrating different products. And I like to say they're taking the eyes and the ears of the environment, the monitoring tools, and the arms and the legs of the environment, like the provisioning tools and orchestration tools, and they're kind of plugging them together. And they're getting a system that has no brain, so it's very reactive in nature. I like to joke that if you tap its knee, it will kick, but it's not capable of thinking. So we see our analytics as the brain that links all these things together, and there's a very powerful value proposition for doing so, because what we can do then is take all the flow of new requests in the cloud, marry it with all the data coming out of the cloud infrastructure, and come up with a very intelligent way to place workloads and allocate resources, again, that drives up efficiency. So we're, at this show, we're showing version 7 of our product, which is coming out next month, which really is our first rev of the cloud brain. It's able to pull in data from different sources, think about it, look at all the patterns, and come up with very intelligent actions that then drive the automation of the environment. And cloud, in many instances, is about automation, but you have to automate the right answer. You can't just automate random answers or the wrong answer. So that's where we see that brain as being very important. So when we bring all these elements together, what you actually get is predictive analytics. And we think that's absolutely critical to the management cloud environment, because when you take all the components and integrate them together without this concept of a brain, you get a very reactive environment that can only respond to what's happening right now. But when you take the policies and the bookings and run them through this brain, you can actually look into the future and say, what am I going to be like 30 days from now? Do I need to buy more hardware? Do I need to rebalance between my major clusters? And we think that's absolutely essential to management of the cloud. So this predictive analytics is the core feature of this brain that we think is going to be very important.